Hello everyone, this is Saurabh Sharma. I welcome you all to Vijeta IAS Academy, and let's begin with the current affairs session of 13th of January 2022. In the video, the first topic we will be talking about is uh, the investors relations, the Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority, that is IEPFA. Why do we need it? Because share market is a mechanism where we seek that all the people, be it retail institutions, corporate institutions, or bigger institutions who are making investments, and that money is actually taken by the big houses, corporate undertakings, and public sector undertakings, so that the flow of money is utilized in such a way that their developmental aspects can be ensured. And therefore, all those people who are making investments within this entire process of share market, Dalal Street, their money must be insured correctly, and they should not be in the risk of losing the money unnecessarily. Otherwise, this is a one way great reason that people stop making investments, especially retail investors, because they believe that this is a kind of gambling which has no fundamental basis, and it is simply based on luck. So therefore, this Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority has been set up under the aegis of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, who has signed a memorandum of understanding with the IGNU. The objective for signing the MOU is to achieve the mandate of investor education, awareness, and protection by utilizing the tele-lecturing facility of Gyan Darshan channel. So this is basically an MOU signed between the Ministry of Corporate Affairs with IGNU, so that a module can be made and investors education, awareness, and their protection by tele-lecturing facility, that will be the mode of delivering those lectures, is ensured, and a conducive environment can be created where the investors make informed choices about their hard-earned money. Now, Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority. For administration of Investor Education and Protection Fund, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has established Investor Education Protection Fund Authority under the Companies Act 2013. So this is basically made under Companies Act. The main objective of the authority includes to promote investor education, awareness and protection, and to refund unclaimed shares, dividends, and other amounts transferred to it to the rightful claimants. Because sometimes there are individual investors, after their death, their shares, their debentures, and other investment instruments are generally lying idle. Nobody is there to make a claim. So to the immediate family members or heirs, the money can be transferred to according to the law. Now, Investor Education and Protection Fund has been established under the provisions of Companies Act. The amounts such as dividends, applications money, mature deposits, etc. have remained unpaid or unclaimed for a period of 7 years are required to be transferred to the IEPF. Those whose claims about the lying money which is idly lying, nobody is there to make a claim over that money. So automatically, after 7 years of unclaimed period, after an individual has been deceased, that money will be transferred to the IEPF, because that idle lying of money is not making any use. So that money can be used for some wiser purposes, for some rational purposes, which will be ultimately adding to the insurance of creating a conducive and healthy environment for the investments in the country. The amounts credited to IEPF are maintained under the Consolidated Fund of India, that is Article 266 of the Constitution. This is important. The fund is also utilized for distribution of any disgorged amount. What is disgorged amount? We'll see. See, when a person or entity in the security market makes a profit by fraudulent means, like Harshad Mehta case has been highlighted by the records, or Sahara cases, these money which has built the profit by using the fraudulent means and applications, that money is known as disgorgement money. and that is known as pool disgorged pool of money. And the order states that that disgorgement is issued to repay those gains to affected investments with interest. That means if an individual or if a company has made some profit through fraudulent means, the profit they have made, because it is a zero sum game, the share market is a zero sum game. If someone is winning, then definitely someone is losing, because it is basically an exchange of money between the winners and losers. And when someone has lost, and through the applications of fraudulent means someone has made immense of profit, so that money is not known as disgorged money, and that disgorged money by orders are paid back to the affected investors who actually lost the money. So this is known as disgorgement of money. Otherwise, if there are no such mechanism, then definitely SEBI or other government agencies cannot ensure that investors will be coming back for making investments through share market. And share market earns a great sort of revenues to the government of India in the form of security transaction charges, in the form of agreement charges, in the form of transfer charges and whatsoever. So this is basically a good source of income for the government of India, and everything, all the revenues are making a part of Consolidated Fund of India under Article 266. Then one more thing, Hisab Ki Kitab. 6 modules of short films of Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority titled Hisab Ki Kitab has been launched. The various modules of these films highlight the importance of budget, saving, importance of insurance schemes, various social security schemes of the government, etc. Because why is this needed? India is a country which is still working on the traditional and conventional modes of making savings. What do we believe in creating savings? For us is that buy gold, buy properties, and that's it. Or otherwise just put your money working for you by lending it to some needy people in a form of informal supply of credit, and there you earning 2%, 3% per annum, and that is not actually legally sanctioned, because you don't have the licenses to lend money to someone to earn interest. In this process, generally people who have fled after taking your money, there is no accountability, there is no reports you can do, because that money transaction has been happened or has been done in the form of cash, and cash generally is considered as unaccountable until and unless it has been withdrawn from the banks. And now banks have also started imposing TCS or cutting TDS or deducting TDS at the tax deduction at source, because a government can actually identify that you have withdrawn, let's say 10 lakh rupees of cash from your account, then where have you spent it? Because earlier there was no accountability of such cash or something, and if you want to claim that TDS, because government has already deducted the tax, even if you don't disclose it, but if you disclose it and the expenses found valid and allowed, then definitely your tax which was refunded will be refunded back to you. So in India, what happens is people are not making good values of investment, which is value adding investment. We believe in adding up or collecting or holding the assets in the form of gold and properties. But what happens in the Western areas, West countries, what do? They invest the money in the market itself. They invest the money in the corporate companies, in the banks, bonds, shares, mutual funds, and other collective funds, so that the economy also gets the money back into the system, which is lying idle in the lockers and bank accounts of the citizens. But in India, it is not happening. Therefore, we believe in the traditional and conventional system of saving, whereas in the Western countries, the modern economic instruments have been deployed, and people are financially well literate. They are well knowledgeable, and they understand different availability of instruments where they can actually make money. So this entire topic about investors education is absolutely important, and God knows why these kind of favorable schemes are coming so late in the country in the era of 2022, because these things should have come in the era of 2000, where the youth who was born in late 80s or 19s 90s basically could have learned these instruments, and definitely this is also working as a skill which is basically a white collar job. And here people would have been more inclined towards becoming entrepreneurs, self reliable, and this the vision of India, that we should be job creators, not job workers, could have been realized, because financially literacy is also lacking at the above level of people who are working on the higher levels, because the basic development of knowledge base among individuals has been lacking so far. So let's say how far and how many people are taking benefits of such schemes in the forthcoming time. So this is about the financial literacy. The next is National Youth Festival, 25th National Youth Festival. It is actually inaugurated by Prime Minister in Puducherry, and the date every year it is 12th to 16th January. Already we have discussed 12th January being the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekanand is observed as National Youth Day, the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekanand. The objective of the National Youth Festival is to bring youth of the country together to showcase their talents, provide them an arena by creating a mini India where youth interact in formal and informal settings and exchange their social and cultural uniqueness. This is basically inclusion of youth in the mainstream, so that the scope of distracting youth is minimized. Because if youth is distracted of a country, if the youth of the country is distracted, then it is basically a loss and death of opportunities, sets of opportunities for that country. Because India's largest asset in the era of 21st century is its demographic dividend, because India has the largest pool of demographic dividend in the country. But again, this demographic dividend is lacking motivation. It is lacking motivation, lacking skill, lacking confidence, sometimes education, not sometimes, actually more, then technological awareness, and awareness at domestic level about the political system, about the economic system, and the culture is generally manipulated to them. How the manipulation is working? Either they are made subservient or to follow the cultural aspects without making any questions, or without arguing, or without putting any questions to them, to the followings. In this way, generally the modernity aspects are low among those youth. I'm talking about the youth who are largely concentrated in rural areas, not urban areas, because in rural areas the facilities, thinking, and the availability of knowledge is generally revolving around elements of religion, caste, class, and these kind of orthodox aspects. Are these good for the country? Is it going to make any good changes in the state development? No. Because what we need a culturally strong youth who has skills and who has great respect for the values given by the families, by the society, and those values are helping him to take forward decisions, to contribute towards the development of the society, and who understand the positivity of, or the meaning or rightful meaning of living together, who understand the basic principles of constitution. At least fundamental rights understanding should be there. He should also value the people coming from different arena, different breeds, different backgrounds, different caste, different color, place of birth, and how the contribution can be made and how it can be sustained. And he understand the values of working together, the team spirit. He should have all the fundamental requirements of becoming a leader. Rather, he should not only dream for becoming a leader without holding such values and strong fundamental base within himself, in his brain, in his rational understanding. So therefore, the contribution of youth, if he is not being held back, and if he is contributing positively along with these aspects what we have discussed here, then definitely the promotion of national integration will be positively promoted, automatically promoted, and spirit of communal harmony, brotherhood, courage and adventure will also be there in the youth. For example, I would like to be a little light-minded here, and would like to pass some light mood statements, that in India, when it comes to fun, when it comes to mauj masti and enjoyment, we always tend towards buying a whiskey, single malt, double malt, and go to the pubs, bars, take boozes, smoke, and we generally feel that we are good. But the spirit of adventure, what people in the West countries are following, if they have time, they simply, in the casual attires, they simply take their bikes, their cycles, or whatsoever, they go on trekking, they go on hiking, and majority of them, they are doing some sort of activities which are actually adding values to either their mental health, their physical health, or their spiritual health. They believe that adventures can be value adding, but here adventures could be kuch tufani ho jaye type, which is absolutely catastrophic disasters. In most of the cases we have been seeing this. I'm not saying that taking apart or taking a time from your schedules for you, that is me time, is bad, or like drinking is bad or whatsoever, because drinking cannot decide a character of a person. But the spirit of adventure should be understood in a way that what sort of values am I getting from whatever action am I doing in the whole day of my schedule, because no action should mean absolutely irrelevant to your time. Otherwise, this will be counted as that you killed that much of time from your schedule and the entire life of yours which has been prescribed by God for you. So in this manner, by the time we don't understand the motives behind our actions, the values backing our actions, and what benefits are we getting from those actions, till that time, the youth contribution is a big point of debate and question here, because youth is not able to understand and decide that what is going to be. And to add on this entire paradigm, the disaster is being done with the availability and accessibility of technology with immense data, but there are no encouragement or excitement or spirit of getting knowledge, information. And what youth is doing with the availability of gadgets and data without any channelized direction or motivation, you know very well, better than me. Coming back, the basic aim of this National Youth Festival is to promote or propagate the spirit, essence and concept of Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat. This Ek Bharat is talking about our integration and unity. But this Shresht Bharat is talking about many things like development, prosperity, growth, and an inclusive society working towards making India a really great country to live in. Just mentioning these words and whatever have I said in layman's language to make you a people understand in a practical approach or paradigm, it is actually making a similar sentiments here. But how the National Youth Days are talking and how the spirit is being propagated around the country in the youth of all the intellectual background, of all the financially stable background, of all the emotionally unstable or stable background, and all the people who are disabled in one or the other form, has to be or has to made a part of this National Youth Festival or scheme. Then only the dream of Swami Vivekananda of making India a great country backed by the consistent efforts of youth could be completed. As he said, or as the youth, the theme of National Youth Day 2022 is, it's all in the mind. A key teaching of Swami Vivekananda. It's all in the mind. If your mind knows what you are doing, then your actions are actually proving what you have been intended to do before taking those actions. So National Youth Day, that's how you have to see this thing in the context.